So I just put in some geraniums, just a couple little ones. And in the past, I've gone for the big, 5-gallon things that cost 7 times more just for the immediate impact. But these will grow pretty well here, I'm pretty sure, even though they're going to get really strong summer sun. But we will see if maybe they'll get acclimated through the winter and have roots that, anyhow, it might work out okay. I'm doing this whole thing portrait, not landscape, which is weird, but because I want to do more of this, so I can and a couple little geraniums here. Again, they're going to get just enough water and just enough protection from the morning sun. So we will see. The reason I got these geraniums is because the others over here have been established. They're doing pretty well over here in what I call the parentheses. There's 2 sets back here. These are facing each other. The ones in the corner, through the tree here, are just embracing the corners. Anyhow, so 2 more geraniums, 4 more geraniums back over there, because this one was doing really well and it had a buddy, and I don't know what happened to it. Maybe too much water. Hard to say if it's automatic. Oh, it's over here. It's just not blooming. So let me figure out what I'm doing wrong. They can't have blooms all year round, so just get over it. I was looking for more marigolds, but they just didn't have any, which is probably okay. It is what it is. But they seem to be doing really well, and I love the color, and the backyard has a lot of color. I've established it well with greens and the palette of the orange and the bluish gray thing, but it just needs pops of color, especially during the winter when more people are in town to see it. So here's a bunch of more marigolds planted at the same time as the ones over there. And they seem to be doing pretty well too. They do get leggy, and so there's dead parts here, which I will go back and prune it, and somewhat severely take off a bunch of blossoms. Just make so those legs are not the stems are not so leggy. They get long and not full looking, so you see the stuff that's naturally dying off. They're very weak, so that's just pulled right off. Grasses seem to be very, very happy here. A couple of them were volunteer when I first moved in. 6 years ago, and then they just kind of duplicated, and see all these blossoms, those are seeds. So the seeds are spreading everywhere. Sometimes I can move them where I want a new grass plant to fill in the space, and then a couple years later I'll have to chop it out because it's too big. It's these grass plants do not look nice when they've gotten older and thick at the bottom. When they're doubling, like this is what I call doubling. That's the oldest part of the grass plant, and they can become really not attractive showing those things, and they're harder to prune. You see this one here. These I've let go. So you see the dead parts, and I constantly am chopping all this stuff out. It's a project, but some of it you can just pull. So, and I don't know what kind of grass plants on here. You know, I love people. People love, you know, the way the mindset is. Any kind of grass that's stubborn and it grows really well, here people call it buffalo grass. And I've heard it referred to 3 different kinds of grasses. They all can't be the same. I mean, buffalo grass, what is buffalo grass anyhow? It just grows in the prairie. So buffaloes ate it and still do in a smaller percentage. And then what else did I plant? These guys are really beautiful. Let me turn it around. The name of it, I don't know, escapes me, but they said the label says it could grow up to 12 to 15 feet tall and probably a bunch wider. These grass plants, no problem, I can yank them right out. When they're young like this, you can do that. When they're older, like these guys, then the roots are much more stubborn, and you have to just chop out a piece at a time, or else dig a big ring around the root to make a root ball, and gradually wedge it out. But that's a beautiful plant. I mean, that's how it's, excuse me, let me back up. That's how it's probably not supposed to look. A big fountain, big poof of things, and there's 3 or 4 of them in this one thing. I love the fact that it's that. And when I prune them, they have kind of a topiary feel, like over there next to that big red thing, which I'll talk about in a sec. But yeah, I love these fountain things. It adds a little more lush and jungly kind of feel to the place. And here's the 2 low planter beds, which I did videos on when I built them a couple years ago in the hot summer heat. What was I thinking? But I'm glad I did it. I took my time. I think I did an okay job. A lot of this scrub is just volunteer. It's native. So this scrub comes and goes, and it seems to tolerate being moved around. It's fairly easy to uproot. And I just chop it with a shovel to keep it compact. That's pretty much all it really, they all need that actually. And so here's these are the planter beds. The low planter beds that we have 2 kinds of agave. This is a big, nasty, razor sharp, do not touch the pointy ends yucca that whatever's in the stems hurts, and hurts for a day or 2. And these are prickly pear, of course. These are blue agave. Forgotten the botanical name, something, but it's called a yucca something. But so technically they're yucca, not agave, although a lot of plants in this genre look kind of the same. So yeah, I need to do my homework better. I just love the way they look. Of course, they were given to me. Thank you, Letitia Collins, down the road. Of course, they were a lot smaller when I got them from her. Was it 2 years ago then? Yeah, it was right after I built these planter boxes. Ever since then, I've repainted them. This orange is a little bit strong. It could be a little bit browner. But, you know, I don't mean it making a statement. It's just paint. The whole process of building these planter beds is, I can't believe I did it. Looks halfway decent. You can see some refinement that could take place, but I was brilliant in extending it out with this. If it was just a single U shape, you know, ho-hum. But this makes it say something. There is a statement. There is a different shape. So 2 of them planted exactly with the same materials on the inside. So there's two places of symmetry, real symmetry, centered on the star here. So if you're looking for some visual logic and a schematic to my backyard, that's it. A big grass plant that was here, right next to this Palo Verde. And the museum tree, this is an AZT, so it does not have thorns. And it wasn't doing so well after, I was just really concerned that this gift, the tree was a gift, and so I didn't want to blow it. And luckily I discovered that I was overwatering it, so I just turned off this deal here, the riser here. But in digging out this big grass plant, and it got up to 4 feet high and 4 feet wide. It was gobbling up this prize tree, which is the main focus of the center of the whole yard. So anyhow, it took quite a while to get the grass plant out, but then I remembered there's a riser here that was spurting water, so I turned that off. It was getting a lot of water, way too much water for a long time, so I'm hoping that the roots are responding properly and they're reaching out rather than rotting. That would be the worst thing, because they're native to desert and they don't like a lot of water. Having said that, I've been giving them too much water. But when I turned that first one off, I immediately got leaves, and so it was greening up. Very happy. Now this time of year, it's kind of natural. I think it's normal for it to, as our planet heats up, the desert's going to heat up. So anything you can do to plan ahead for that, meaning shade plants that are going to survive the heat, that do well in the heat, even if they might go into temporary shock. What am I talking about? Here's another of those blue agaves, at least that's what I've been calling them. And there's another one over here, and again, they were tiny. They were tiny when I put them in the ground. That was 2 years ago, maybe more. 2.5 years probably. So they're both really close to the walkways, so I need to probably prune these guys back. They're sharp too, and they do sting, but not like the monsters. Not like they look like they rise up at night and eat small children. Here's another art piece I did over here. This is a hardboard, redwood hardboard. Redwood, and there's stuff I want to put in front of it to make it sense. It's a little bit too like, look at me, without some scale. It needs to be a big boulder and something, or a planter in front of it, or sculpture, another sculpture. Another more hardboard. I'm not really that thrilled with the colors.